You are now listening to the iWalter Show. Real talk about nothing.
Faster than a speeding bullet, more powerful than a locomotive, able to leap tall buildings in a single bound. Look, up in the sky, it's a bird brain, it's a plane, it's iWalter. Yes, it's iWalter, strange visitor from another planet who came to Earth with powers and abilities far beyond those of mortal men. iWalter, who can change the course of mighty rivers, bend ears with his annoying voice, and who disguised as Walter Interranti, mild-mannered janitor for a great metropolitan newspaper, fights a never-ending battle for truth, nonsense, and the American way. And now, another exciting episode in the adventures of iWalter.
Hey, everyone, this is Walter. I'm doing a show, even though technically I was supposed to have off. I have off tomorrow because of a comic convention, which I just found out last minute because I gave him the wrong email address of this place I'm supposed to go to. It's the Great Philadelphia Comic-Con. And I've been psyched about this for a long time. I only turn up my listening level so I can hear myself. Now I can. Yeah, I actually basically was going to go to this one. I definitely don't go to the one in Oaks. But it just seemed too good to be true, and it was. The Great Philadelphia Comic-Con, I got actually two other guests. So, but I mainly want because of this guy. His name's John Wesley Shipp. Now, you're probably thinking, hold on one second, I got something interfering with my connection. John Wesley Shipp, actually, which I'm supposed to see tomorrow, actually played the Flash back in the 80s. I think it was the 80s. Maybe it was the 90s. Let's see, 1985 to 1986. He played the Flash. I think that's the year. At least that's what I'm seeing. I'm kind of looking at it real quick, so I could actually be wrong about it, too. Well, yeah, I was actually wrong. 1990 to 91, so it was 86, 85 to 86. It was something else. Doing something else. I really wanted to see the man. He played Barry Allen, I believe is the character's name. I don't know. On The Flash when they put it on, and he was really, really good. I don't know if I still own it. I know I bought it for like $9 because the series didn't last more than one season. Originally, unlike now, it's lasting a lot longer. But I think I was one of the few people I ended up buying. It was like, wow, I was a little scared because it was so cheap, and I bought it. It was like, wow, this is really, really good. So I was really psyched. I was actually thinking, okay, I'm going to charge everything up tonight, maybe, and see if I can actually ask them, hey, can I, do some podcasts in there? How much would it cost to even set up a table and maybe even possibly do a plug for my show with John Wesley Shipp? Well, guess what? Because I don't know. I told this place, the Great Philadelphia Comic-Con, listen, I gave you the wrong email address. I made a typo in my email address, so I never got notification. But I did print out all my tickets because I'm used to either not getting emails for one reason or another on verification because you have to print out your tickets. They don't ship them to you. So anyway, yeah, I typed in the wrong email address. I have hard copies. Now, I could, I had taken off work tomorrow. I could actually go to work now, which, honestly, after the bullshit that went on today, again, fortunately, though, I still have this one woman to work with me. She's great. She really is a lifesaver. So she was working with me tonight. I love her to death, and apparently everything run all right, and I even told her and somebody else, I said, listen, hey, I'm going to be having off tomorrow, but I wanted to just last minute, because I didn't check, I didn't have time, I've been, so exhausted every day this week of all the bullshit that we had to take up with, all the work. I mean, it was just incredible the amount of work we had. So it was like, okay, let me just check about this Great Philadelphia Comic-Con, make sure everybody's still there. I couldn't find John Wesley Shipp's name, and then I looked online. It was like, well, there's nothing that says he did cancel. So then I just finally put in, okay, the Great Philadelphia Comic-Con, and then I put in cancellation on The Flash, and then it came up. And, because I'm looking at show photo ops, he wasn't on there. I looked at show schedule, and he was not on there. Now, tomorrow it starts at 10 of 4 is the earliest. Fridays, because I don't even have a schedule. They never sent me a schedule because the fact was I don't have, anything to go by. They didn't email me any information. That's another reason. 4 o'clock, I can do a podcast and I can sleep in. I actually have to still return my keyboard I ruined, the microphone. I can do that, go over St. David's, probably even head back home. It's not that far from the house, Oaks. And then head over. So I'm looking at it right now to make sure I'm right when it starts, because honestly, I have no clue otherwise. But yeah, it seems like it starts at around close to 4 o'clock tomorrow. It's not running that long. I don't need to spend all day there anyway, so it's not going to be that big of a deal. But it just really pisses me off about him. So again, I have to charge my camera tonight. Hopefully it don't give me a problem. But I live close to home. Again, I was ready to actually almost buy a camera too as well. Buy a table. I apologize. Buy a table. For the strict reason that, hey, maybe I could get a table set up and do some podcasts, and from there get people I could ask, hey, would you be willing to do an interview for my, podcast? Which I don't know at this point, because again, I'm actually speculating, because I'm looking now. It's panel schedule, photo op schedule, and cosplay contest. But panel schedule says the earliest thing, and I actually got early. I could probably get there at 3:30 because I got it opens at 4, about earlier than that, because I have the early time to get in there. So but I think they're only open for like 3 hours tomorrow, I guess. My tickets really don't say much, and again, I don't have any way to check that because of this whole thing. Scheduled events. I'm looking at, again, I don't mean to drag 4 sealed pack gaming area at 4 o'clock. So, and yeah, well, give or take, it's only open for like 2 to 3 hours tomorrow. Back to full schedule. Yeah, the earliest thing is at 3:50. So, again, I get early admission, which it really doesn't matter at this point because the main person I wanted to see is not there. So it's going to be a waste because I got it for all 3 days. And honestly, at this point, I could really care less the fact that he's not there. They're not very precise on exactly what's going on either. So, unfortunately, I have no clue. But yeah, that just really obviously got under my skin tonight. Like, okay, hey, I wanted to go to this, and now he's not going to show up. So, to say the least, to put a damper in my parade for the weekend. But either way, I'm at work. I should maybe explain that really quick. I'm still going to kind of keep my show short. Hold on 1 second, folks. I have these speakers on the computer. I post things that are stories that I like to read. And by that being said, though, I'm trying to think. Wow, I just lost my storyline. By that being said, that's on my main computer, the one where the keyboard does not work. This woman, she's got really hot pictures. She's from Australia, and I reposted one of her pictures, and she really appreciated it. It's kind of funny, though, because I think she's a really hot woman. And, again, she's from Australia, so they're like hours behind us. So, and anytime she puts pictures up, I'm just going to... And, again, she's from Australia, so it's funny. I'm looking at these pictures she put up. It's Friday her time already. It's Friday our time in the morning, but it's Friday afternoon for her probably, or whatever. And she took these really hot pictures, and I just repost them. So we're pretty much on my sleep schedule. Yeah, we're on pretty much the same schedule. But, because it's her afternoon, it's my like early crack of dawn, 12 o'clock or 1 o'clock in the morning time. But I just love her so much. She's so freaking hot. But that's not what I wanted to do a show about. I mean, I read some really goofy stuff. I don't want to use the word goofy, actually. I'd rather use the word just appalling on some of the stuff I read. Wow, Adam Green's posted some new pictures. New, not nude, because I might have sounded like I said nude, but I actually meant to say new if I did do it the other way. I hope she doesn't mind I repost all her pictures, because she's... Yeah, never mind. I said it a million times. So, and I wanted to say, I'm going to see, this woman, Debbie, I guess she might have mentioned, and I apologize if I got it wrong, but I think yesterday was her son's birthday. It's Debbie has a son that, yeah, here it is. She said it was her oldest son, passed away in 1993. Today would have been his birthday, which was yesterday. And his kid, I always acknowledge all his pictures. See, I assumed he was still alive, but 93. Yeah, it always gets to me, these kids that are either autistic or have certain problems. You know, they got. I'm trying to think if they're not autistic, or, you know, I had an uncle who was basically, he was born, unfortunately, the best way to put it, he was born a vegetable. And when I saw this one kid, they call him Boo Boo. So I assumed he was still alive, but I don't know now. Maybe maybe this guy Boo Boo's. I get confused. Is somebody different? Because I'm like looking at a poster or a picture they put up of him, not a poster, a picture, and he's got the new Superman behind him. Well, that was only like 3 years ago for the original Man of Steel movie. I should say Man of Steel. So maybe these are two separate kids. I don't know. I get confused. But this kid Boo Boo, he's like my uncle was. My uncle, his name was Michael Soletto. He passed away when he was at Penhurst. He was actually in Penhurst years ago when it was still open. Back in I guess the last time that we saw him was at a picnic in the 70s. And I was too young to remember him. My mother said, oh, yeah, he was over our house and everything. They had him over our house, my Uncle Michael. But again, the man was born basically a vegetable. He always had the mind unfortunately, of a child, an infant. And he needed to be completely taken care of. So, but he unfortunately died. He passed away in... Penhurst. That was like near the end of Penhurst being open, because they did shut it down. A news team came in and actually shut them. They made a documentary or not a documentary. They did a thing on Penhurst and how patients were being mistreated. There wasn't enough staff and help, and like my uncle, he passed away in there because they didn't have enough staff, so he basically got fed, basically he got fed like baby food probably, but he got fed and he was in his 20s, just like this guy I mentioned, and this guy named Boo Boo, but he passed away because he basically, whoever was feeding him, which was another patient, another patient was feeding him. He suffocated. Like the person who was feeding him was just as bad off as probably he was. Well, unfortunately, my brother, I keep on saying brother, it's my Uncle Michael. He really, I assume the same thing is true for this guy, Boo Boo. My Uncle Michael was not, he could respond to things slightly, but he was unable to talk, because he was like basically unfortunately, for lack of a better word, he was a vegetable. So he needed to be taken care of, like a baby would, and a newborn is the best way to put it. So, and I think this guy is the same way, Boo Boo. And again, my heart goes out when I see that. It really does. So, actually, what I wanted to mention real quick on that, though, I really appreciate that too. I gave links to my radio show podcast. So I hope people, the family doesn't mind me talking about Boo Boo. But is it Boo Boo or Bobo? I'm not sure, so I apologize about that. because the way I interpret him, I'm just pronouncing it that way. But apparently, I didn't realize, but the mother really appreciates me, posting or not. I really try to stay away from posting his pictures because I really don't want people to say nasty things about him, because I think what got started with that was somebody or some people, the mother knew he liked horror films, which I love horror movies. I told the brother, not this boo-boo, but his brother actually texted me, and he said, hey, my family and I especially him, he said, I really want to thank you for acknowledging my brother, because I'm this brother of his. And it was like, hey, no sweat, because I really think the guy is cool. And unfortunately, what got my attention was, because I do follow the horror links, all these horror links. It was posted that somebody just ripped this guy apart, this kid named Boo Boo, who again, he's a misfortunate person, but he's probably got the I apologize if he's alive or passed away, so I'm not really quite sure about that. But he's got probably I would assume by looking at the pictures, he seems like he's got a big heart. He's got a lot of love to give. And don't take that in the wrong way. So some people are saying, "Oh, what do you mean, like sexually?" It's like, no, the man, he seems like there's always something that people can give to somebody else if you want to look for it. And most people don't nowadays. They're too busy trying to figure out what you're doing wrong in your life and how you should correct yourself, so they can take the focus off of themselves. So, and it got me really mad when I found out that they're okay when they posted this kid's picture, and they said this guy, I call him a kid, but because I'm pushing 50 almost. I have to look for this other one I like. But this other girl, which I think she's really cute, Lisa. I think her name's Lisa. I thought it was Lisa. Maybe I'm wrong. I can't remember this other girl's name, but I bought her thing on stuff. This girl she can't gain weight, so I have to put that and figure out her name. I can't remember. She's really cute though. Let me see, the girl who can't gain weight, because I want to get back to Bobo too, or Boo Boo. Oh, here she is. Lizzie. She's got a Hispanic last name. I personally think she's cute. She's a cute girl. I'd love to meet her. But her name is, and she got really, really picked on. And you hear her talk, she really just has a really cute voice. I mean, the girl's got a misfortunate thing. She can eat literally 5,000 calories a day, and she won't gain a fucking ounce. So, she's kind of personally, I think the girl from when she was younger, she really blossomed a lot. And, people see what they want to see in a person. They see, oh, she's unattractive, and she looks. Another one, they said, oh, she looks like a monster. It's like, you know what? You got to get off that kick of just picking on people and calling everybody monsters because they look different than you do. So me, I don't appreciate that. I actually find personally, for females, since I'm on that topic, females that look different to me, or are not the norm, I find that kind of more attractive to me than anything else. So maybe you can take it how you like, but I like what is different. I don't like what everybody else thinks. What the perfect woman should look like. So, and people are probably saying, well, you're just saying that, you don't mean that. Actually, no, if you know me, like my friends do, you know that I'm not making that up. And I mean, and just in general, quite honestly, I don't like people who belittle or desecrate those who are, who look different. I don't appreciate that. I try to keep an open mind, and I know how I wouldn't appreciate it if somebody, because I was the person when I was in school, in high school and stuff, who got severely picked on for, being different. And I still get kind of desecrated, belittled, and dehumanized. And trust me, I'm not anybody who does look like John Merrick or anything like that. Not that that would be a problem, but I'm just saying I don't look like John Merrick. If people who don't know John Merrick, by the way, that is the person who was well known back, what was that, the early part of the 20th century, because he was known as the Elephant Man. So, yeah, I don't look like, I don't have that, but I feel like that sometimes, the way I get treated. Sorry, I'm itching my nose. And, I get treated like as though I am John Merrick and I have some major deformity that people just have to turn away because they can't even bear to look at me. And, I mean, that's just plain ignorant. So, knowing that I go through that every day of my life, I literally do. I still go through that. Makes me understand people that are different. Now, I mentioned this to a woman even about Boo Boo, and I said I felt really bad, that he got picked on. But the dude seems really cool because he does like horror movies and stuff. And it's like, I don't care. This kid has an interest. I think it's really cool that he has an interest in horror films and stuff. And I don't have a problem with that. I think it's cool. But, people, I think it's like a tight-knit community in some ways, but maybe it's not the biggest one. But, it's a community of people that usually you would think kind of like years ago when I used to go to see to these Doctor Who conventions back in Philly, back in the 80s, that was the best time, too, because we, like as Whovians, we didn't look at people for being different or anything like that. We were all conglomerated, for basically being of the same interest. And we would talk about other things. I'm posting all these girls. Her name is, if I'm pronouncing it right, I apologize if I'm not, but Taboo Kate or something, or Kat. She's really cute. She is hot. She's really hot. She's Australian. So every time she's been putting up a picture, I'm just like posting them on my page. It's like, I really love her. She's like incredible looking. So I hope she doesn't mind. I apologize if she does. She can let me know, and I'll take the pictures down. So I'm sure in some way she doesn't mind, because it means somebody really likes her pictures. But yeah, I used to go to these Doctor Who conventions all the time, and I met up with like people, total strangers. One time we met up, some girl, she was posting, I'm going to have a Doctor Who get together at my house. My parents are going to allow me to. And I was like 17 at the time, but I went to this convention, and this girl wanted to kind of like, just get everybody together at her house for a Doctor Who convention. It was like, cool. We were watching like old Doctor Who's. Back then, the most you had to watch, unlike now, was like Tom Baker, Peter Davison, William Hartnell. No, not even William Hartnell, because they really didn't release those even back then. It was a little bit later. So I'm going to say John Pertwee and Tom Baker. That was about it. I don't even think Troughton was in existence back then. They were there, but they were, there wasn't enough demand to, go that far. So we would sit at the house, we'd bullshit about other things, other than Doctor Who. But you're talking like all types of people, not just, one particular person or people or whatever. And we get together, but the last thing we would do is say, oh, I hope I didn't. Good, because I love her, Lizzie. I think she's, she's unique looking. Some people are going to say, oh, you're just saying that because you feel sorry for her. No, she's unique looking, but she's got an adorable voice. Now, I'm going to post her, and please, I hope, well, the people who will pick on this poor girl, and people think I'm being sarcastic because I said, oh, I think she's really cute, and I'd love to meet her. I'm being it's the God's honest truth. I think she's actually lives in Texas or something. She actually got her own apartment too, so I give her a lot of credit. And there's people who do meet up with her, and I'm trying to be careful which pictures I post because if I post the wrong one, then I know she's going to get ripped to shreds, and I'm not putting it up for her to do that. I don't want that to happen to her, honestly. But I did buy her. I did buy her video in Walmart, so it only comes. I think it only came in DVD. I would have bought just for the hell of it. I would have bought it on Blu-ray if they had it. But she's extremely skinny. She can't help herself. She literally is skin and bones, the poor girl. But she's a very inspirational motivator. But I mean, she's carried her cross all her life. She probably still is. I just think she's adorable, for being different and being outspoken. It just even gets to me more. But again, I got to be really careful because I did put up a couple pictures. But if I put up the wrong ones, like I said, somebody's going to rip the poor girl apart, and I'm going to be very unhappy about that. I'll just tell you right now. But yeah, I'd love to meet her. Boo Boo, if he was still alive, I wouldn't mind meeting him too because he seems like a cool dude. But the poor guy, he's his parents. Thank goodness. I think the thing that worries about me, I guess he's got enough extended family. Somebody's going to always take care of him. I would hope that somebody would always take care if he's still alive. If he's not, I apologize for misunderstanding the post. Okay, I'm putting this one up. It doesn't have a picture of Lizzie, but it just says, Lizzie, beautiful, motivation, life, and advice. She is. Beauty, like they say, is in the eye of the beholder. Maybe she doesn't fit what everybody's thinks is a beautiful girl, but that takes a really rotten person to insult somebody like that. I personally think she's adorable. So, but my, take on beauty is not the same as everybody else's. Some people think beauty is measurements of a woman and she has to look a certain way and, have triple D breast or something like that. No, that's not my take on what I think is beautiful. So that's just me. So a person who's beautiful to me is a person who is a real person, as a woman. And who, actually has a heart, somebody who was actually, considerate to others. I mean, to me, somebody I consider beautiful is not somebody who looks like somebody out of a poster or a movie. That's actually the complete opposite of what I consider beautiful. So just to give you a heads up. So, yeah, I've learned that, believe it or not, a long time ago. Well, she did put out a book, too. Again, I would love to post it. I'm just going to save the picture so I can find her book. I will buy it just to give her money. But, yeah, years ago, what am I thinking? I'm sorry, I'm so tired, and I'm, worried I won't make it tomorrow. Because even at 4 o'clock, yeah, I'll be late. But it was I think it was last year or beginning of this year, I actually gave some money because this poor woman, she was suffering from severe anorexia. I can't remember say it right. Oh, it was in the movie theaters too. I wish I would have known that. I would have actually went and seen it. Anorexia nervosa, I believe, is the correct way to say it. Maybe not. But yeah, what was I going to say? And it just got to me so much because I had a girl that I dated years ago. She had anorexia nervosa, and she was, sometimes some days were better than others. But she had some hard times that she basically, she was having hard times suffering. She went to actually a place called the Renfrew Center too, down in I think it was the Renfrew Center down in Philadelphia for that's people who have anorexia. I'm sorry, eating disorders. I'm getting so distracted right now because I'm looking at Lizzie's pictures. I really think she's adorable. I'd love to meet her. If I seen her, I'd have to give her a big hug. I just hope I wouldn't break her. She's just so petite. But yeah, I gave it was the first time I've ever actually donated. I think I donated twice to, things. I donated some for a T-shirt and stuff for, I'm wearing it tonight actually. It's the guy that played Xander or something on Buffy. He was actually supporting people that suffer from suicide, who are very suicidal, a support group that he had started. And it was like, okay, that's another thing I will donate to because it's something I suffer with. So it's more than just close to home. I'm going to donate some money to that. So I did. I donated money. What I was starting to say was to this girl also who had an eating disorder. She's she sends letters out once in a while, and yeah, I'm always there to check. When I get the emails, I try to look at them and stuff. But yeah, so there's certain things I just will give money to, and that's the stuff I will. Or show if I don't have a lot of money actually, but if I don't have money, I will still show my support in other ways. And for me it would be just like with this Boo Boo or Bobo. I'm sorry if I don't get it right. My way of supporting him is just acknowledging, hey, this dude likes horror movies. I like movies, and treat him like he should be treated, like a human being. Not like like I get treated sometimes, or a friend says he gets treated like or she gets treated, a friend from work, that we get treated like a piece of shit. I don't do that to other people, and I don't appreciate when it happens to me. But that being said, though, I just got started in a different direction I had planned tonight. I want to spend all night talking about this, but yeah. So again, I really like Lizzie. I think she's adorable, and the guy Boo Boo is another one. I just really support him. I just 100%. I would do whatever I can do, godly possible, to make sure people won't pick on him. And, he should be, if he's, I'm not really, honestly, I'm not sure if he had passed away or what. I'm a little confused on that. But I'm going to do anything to make sure people don't pick on him. And if he's still with us, that he gets treated like a human being, like he should be, not like a piece of garbage, or people picking on him and say, oh, he's this, that, or the other thing. That's not right. You don't do that to people. That's just the bottom line. So anyway, before I go any further, again, I just want to, if it was his birthday, yesterday, I wanted to give him a happy birthday. And if he passed away, I'm sorry for this family's loss. But either way, and it's not too late. It's only like a little after 2, so I'm not doing too bad tonight. So anyway, my voice keeps on going down. It's stuff like this I read, by the way, these stories that just really tear me apart because, or not the one about Boo Boo or Lizzie. I would love them. I mean, people, I have different. If Lizzie lived around me and I saw her, I'd be a little because I'm very shy, believe it or not. I don't sound shy when I'm on the radio. I would probably ask her out. I would definitely ask her out. Now, people are look at her and say, well, you're just doing that because you feel sorry for her. No, because I've heard her talk. She seems like she's got, a heart inside her body, unlike some people. And, I'd rather have a person who is more human than, more human in the fact that they treat people and have more of a heart than some heartless bitch who really could care less about you. I mean, that means more to me than, women say they do that. Like, women don't judge guys by their looks. They judge them by their, how their personality is, so to speak. I'm using my own terminology. And that is like such a crock of shit. I'm sorry. It is the biggest crock of shit I've ever heard. And there was that joke from years ago where this one comedian actually said the difference between men and women, men want that one thing from every woman, something on that line, but a woman wants everything in one package. That I kind of believe, but no, women are very shallow-minded too, I hate to tell you. They do want the one deal package, but they also want the guy who looks like he came off a GQ magazine or out of a Playgirl. So, but a guy is not that, I'm trying to think of the right word, is not that, well, give or take. I know men that are like that, trust me, who are just as shallow, and they want the perfect package. They won't settle for anything less except, a woman with the oversized breasts, the perfect ass, the hourglass waist, and also perfect everything, and plus a brain in their head. So I know guys like that. Like, they're just, and women do the same thing in reverse. They just won't admit to that. So anyway, I always get ridiculed. I was even at tonight. I forgot. I see. This is how far off I went. How long am I in? I'm only in 36 minutes anyway, almost 40 minutes. But I go to work, and the woman I work with, I love her to death. She's been a really big help. She's been an extremely big help. She actually helped me get stuff together to bring inside to clean with. So it was like, great. So we were supposed to do one particular job, but the job couldn't be done because it wasn't humanly possible to do the job that we were required to do. And I said, if you can't, I'm going to keep it very vague, obviously. I'm not going to tell you what the job was because it's best that I don't tell people because then you can figure out maybe where I work. I don't doubt it, but you never know. So the boss told us at the beginning of our shift, me and the woman I work with, hey, I have a job for you to do. It needs to be done tonight, but they started late on getting the facilities together for you to clean. So he says, if you can't do what I requested you to do, let the person on the next shift know that, hey, you weren't able to get the task done that was required. So we went in, we got all our supplies we needed for cleaning, me and this woman I work with. We brought it in, we cleaned it all in. She helped me out. She was a big help. We checked out this area. It wasn't ready to be cleaned. There was no freaking way we would have been cleaning the task we were asked to do tonight. So right away I got on the horn. I got on the phone. I called up this manager that was still there on my shift. And I told him, listen, he picked up. I said, hey, just to let you know, we can't do the job you had required us to do, so I'm letting you know right now so I don't have to wait for the other manager to come in, which I don't know what time they would come in anyway. And he was like, I told this guy, I said, listen, so we're going to do another area. We're going to clean this different area, this different room. And I said, is that going to be a problem? Is there going to be anybody coming into this room that we're going to be in their way? He said, no, I'll check into it, but I don't think so. You should be fine. It's okay. You cleared it with me, so you're fine. So here, this supervisor that was on duty left, and then this other supervisor came in, this woman, and she had no clue that we changed up what we were supposed to do. So she just ignores me, gets pissed off at me, and talks to the woman I was working with. Like I wasn't even there. which got me really angry. And it's like, okay, already the communication, treat me like a human being, writing out my list. If things change, I'm supposed to communicate it with the person on duty. That's all like basically just fell apart. Like I got ridiculed. And I'm like thinking to myself, okay, tomorrow I could go to work, and I did buy a ticket for a 3-day convention, which the main person I was supposed to meet is not going to be there now. So I could easily just gain back a vacation day. But after that bullshit, when I left tonight, it was like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to make sure it is continuously off. Plus, I got ridiculed, not directly, but indirectly, and through comments, like verbal comments, that I wasn't doing anything tonight. I just sat there for 8 hours and did absolutely nothing. And it's not an isolated case. It happens every fucking night at my job that I don't do anything. I just sit around. I'm lazy. I'm a whack job. And it's like most of the stuff that gets said to me is not only just, inappropriate, out of line, and very offensive. I can't say anything about it otherwise. It's totally okay for people to rip me apart, belittle me, dehumanize me, say whatever the fuck that comes off their mouth. But if I say anything, whoa, Walter, what are you saying now? Hey, that's inappropriate. You shouldn't be saying that. So it's a double standard all the way around. Just to let you know, if you don't know, a double standard means that what's all right for one person to do is not all right for you to do. And that's exactly what happens. And I have black and white evidence about that, but nobody ever cares to hear it until it actually becomes an issue for that they're involved with it. Then it becomes a big issue. Oh, wait a minute. You said something about me? I don't appreciate that. But if they say the exact same thing to you if you use the same overtone and give them the same advice or sarcasm they give you, then shit's going to hit the fan. Trust me. And so quickly that your head will be spinning. So it just gets on my nerves. So here, the icing on the cake tonight, I see this story, and it's like from around here, by the way, again. It was in Phoenixville. It's titled, Former Conestoga Teacher's Aide Charged with Having Sex with a Student. So get this, though. This story just really made me want to bang my head, because there's two stories like this. There's two stories on her, but there's two stories of similar situation. One was of about a guy molesting a 13-year-old. Well, this teacher is only... Now, this is another thing that's going to be put into play. Her charge is this woman, she was having sex with a 16-year-old. She's 26. It just basically boiled down to... There's two different articles. I'm looking at the one right now in the Times Herald, because it actually has her mugshot. But there was another one, let's see, on the same story... from the Morning Call, but they were both, this was a teacher who taught in Phoenixville. That's like right down the road from where I live. It'd be right down the road for I'll be at this convention tomorrow down in Oaks. It's not that far. So they just said these were accusations, and that's it. And they actually said that this woman, the whole entire time was pleading her innocence, like she's innocent. They had sexting messages. They have evidence that she had sex with this 16-year-old 4 times. She's a substitute teacher. But she says, oh, I didn't do any of that stuff. I'm totally innocent. So even though she got caught red-handed, she's innocent. She's innocent. She's a school teacher. Now, I always hear, well, you hear about this stuff, you know it's a problem, but what can you do about it? Well, you can do something about it by actually properly doing what you need to do to get these people off the street and not just letting them free and say, well, we don't have enough evidence. It's like the whole situation. I'm afraid to bring this up, but it was on just recently, that miniseries about O.J. Simpson. They had the bloody glove. They had the evidence. They said that he was so, I guess he was high on some drugs or something. I don't know what the deal was with him, that he actually almost severed her head off of his ex-wife or his wife or whatever it was. They had evidence out of the gazoo about this, and people I talked to said that he was definitely guilty, which was without a doubt. But it's not the point. The point is, you got people like with this woman who's a assistant school teacher, a substitute. They have, overwhelming amount of evidence that she was beyond guilty. What she did was a criminal offense, and the best that comes out of it, well, we're not quite sure. And they even said, I'm looking at this now, that she was in a relationship with this kid, for 4 months out of the year. And it was a continuous sexual relationship. And the guy goes into graphic detail, the victim, they call him, the kid, saying that she actually openly mouth-tongued him, too. So, but she's denying everything. She said this never happened. I don't know what you're talking about. She did resign, though, I guess from the humiliation. But that shouldn't stop by that. She should go to jail for this. She won't. She's not going to get anything, I'll tell you right now. And it's going to boil down to all these perverted, lovesick guys are going to say, well, where was she when I was in high school? And I told the one friend and coworker at work, I said, hey, this is what your kids got to look forward to, are people like this. And he actually did get upset about it. So, you know what? People really need to take this stuff seriously and stop making it into a fucking game, which really pisses me off. I mean, it doesn't mean I'm that much of a prude, but, you got to face up to the facts. What she did was wrong, and by saying, well, just sweep it under the rug, we can't do anything about it, is not the solution. Okay, so here's another one. It was actually from the Morning Call. So this one was in Allentown, but it's still Pennsylvania. Teen molested in Allentown library bathroom. So this is the reason, by the way, because the women have pushed for this a long time, the liberal women, who keep on insisting that we should have unisex bathrooms, and the liberals push for this as well, obviously, same thing. We need to have unisex bathrooms for transgenders. No, you don't need to have that. Because what's happening, I had a couple articles like this the past couple days after this came out, where you get guys who just throw a dress on and say, well, I'm in transition, I'm transitioning over to a woman. I'm actually a woman, a woman who's trapped in the guy's body. So what I read in a couple of these stories so far that came up the past couple of days after certain states passed this law, are guys, again, throwing on dresses and coming in with cameras and videotaping, or whatever you want to call it, recording women underneath the stalls. So this is what you get for, this is what happens when you get what you're asked for, which is basically, I'm trying to think of the right word, unreasonable terms are being met for you. So this is what you get. So anyway, enough of that already, but this story was from Allentown. It says a 63-year-old man was charged Wednesday with sexually assaulting a 13-year-old boy. So it doesn't turn into like that other article, that other woman. Now, the age difference, you can say, well, there's a big difference there. It doesn't matter. You're still molesting a child. That's the part that makes me really angry. But the terminology for this woman is that it was accusations. There's no way to prove it, even though they had an overwhelming amount of evidence. This guy, though, cut and dry, he assaulted a kid. Not even an accusation. It's just cut and dry. So it's a 63-year-old Allentown man was charged Wednesday with sexually assaulting a 13-year-old boy in Allentown Public Library bathroom in March. David Michael Connell on 1300 block of Gordon Street. They didn't give this much information out about this woman, by the way. Not to this extent. Was sent to Lehigh County Jail under a $200,000 bail. Well, guess what the bail is for that woman who assaulted and raped a 16-year-old boy. Now, people are going to rip me apart about this. I don't think actually anything. She got, let's see, I'm looking at her again. Oh, no money. No money at all. They give a vague description of where she lives, unlike the other guy who, got charged with similar sexual assaults, and she got held on no bail. She basically is scot-free on the streets. So, okay, wait a minute. I apologize. I was wrong about that. It says Thursday morning she was free on posting a bail set at 10% of $50,000. Her hearing is scheduled for 11 a.m. May 27th at the District Court in Rayne. So she only had to make 10% of a $50,000 bail. That other guy, he had to get, make his bail. He had to pay $200,000 for his crime. So let's see. I'm going to try to do this if I can. $50,000 times 0.10 is $5,000. So her bail was $5,000. His was $200,000. Now you're going to say, well, this is apples and oranges. Well, this guy was a one-term offender. This woman was a 4-month offender, and she was a tutor. So yeah, you're right. They are different, but she got away with making a post-bond bail of $5,000. This guy who did a one-time deal, a stupid deal, got charged and sent to jail for $200,000. So you kind of explained that one to me. I know you won't be able to in any way that I'll accept, so I'm just going to let you know. By the way, just to show you how out of control kids are too, and I always complain about females, but here we go. This was actually in the morning call. Police, 16-year-old girl dead after a fight in the high school, and it was in Delaware. The victim was a 10th grader from Newcastle who had gotten involved in a confrontation involving 2 other students in Wilmington Howard High School of Technology. So some girl got in the middle of a fight. She ended up bashing her head on a sink, well, if I remember reading it correctly, because I'm not going to go through it again. And she got killed. She was dead. Dead on arrival, DUI. Dead on arrival? No, that's DUI is driving under influence. So I'm really off, whatever. Bottom line, she died in the high school. It was a cat fight, in my opinion, between girls, because I remember reading or looking at something about this earlier this evening, and they said it was all over a guy. They got in the fight over a guy, and one girl is now dead. A 16-year-old girl is dead. So try to explain that one to me. I need to lighten this up, so I'm going to do it right now, where I found some article, a friend at work, actually like my one friend, Matt, from work. And it said Jesse Eisenberg blames bad editing for the Batman versus Superman doing so poorly. Now, he's the one, by the way, he's the young guy who actually played a young Lex Luthor. So he's proclaiming that the reason this... Now, the movie, I mentioned this before just to give people a heads up. The movie was intentionally supposed to be 4 hours long. They cut it back to 2.5. Now, out of that 4 hours, they're going to re-release, when they put it out on Blu-ray and DVD, at least put a half an hour back into the film that was cut out, because they cut it way too much. It was a 4-hour film cut down to 2.5, so that's a big cut. Anyway, I really wouldn't mind going to see her. On a different note, I got this from in my email yesterday. It was on Gwen Stefani. She's going to be over in Jersey in Camden, and I would love to see her. I'm not a big, I don't listen to all Gwen Stefani's stuff, but I got an early thing to go see her for a meet and greet. I was like, yeah, this would be pretty cool, because she seems like a cool chick. I liked her a bit in No Doubt. I don't own any No Doubt albums, but I understand where she comes from, Gwen Stefani. I don't like all her music, but it'd be pretty cool to see her. So it was and she's getting up there a little bit in age. She's not as old as I am, but she's getting up there in age. So she is doing a VIP meet and greet. I was like, hey, this is really cool. I'd love to meet Gwen Stefani. I'd love to be up and close and personal with her. But I looked at the meet and greet because I got an early, hey, you want to buy a ticket for VIP with Gwen Stefani? I was like, hell yeah, I wouldn't mind. Until I went through and figured out what it was going to cost. Now, get this. To get a meet and greet, you're not getting much more besides the meet and greet, maybe a decent seat. Not an excellent seat, but a decent seat. $995. And it was like, okay. And some other guy at work actually said the same thing I did. He didn't go to the extent I will. it's like, unless she's going to give me more than just a picture, she's going to like take me backstage, because he said something a little bit similar to that, probably not to the same, probably disturbing way I would have said it, but he said something on the line pretty similar, like, yeah, she better be giving me more than just a picture. She better be giving me something else. And it was like, yeah, I'm kind of actually, I am 100% on boat with that. Unless she's, I could go down to Norristown for about $20 and get a lot more than just a handshake, if you get my drift. So, yeah, so that's pretty funny. Yeah, this is pretty funny. He's actually aged a bit, but when I was mentioning about O.J. Simpson, there was an article on him too that I forgot about. I posted. I'm looking at it now, and this was actually kind of funny in a ridiculous way. But it was from the Daily News. I found this, and I thought it was kind of pretty scary too. Now, I miss O.J. Simpson when he used to do a lot of those airplane movies. I thought the man was really funny. I thought he was fucking hilarious. It's like, dude, why did you have to do this? Why did you have to ruin your life? Because you ruined everybody else's, obviously, and you killed 2 people brutally. But that's besides the point. It says O.J. Simpson allegedly wants to date both Kris Jenner after prison release, but not only Kris Jenner, also Caitlyn Jenner. He wants to date both of them after his prison release. Now, he's in prison not for the charges of killing 2 people brutally. This is a different charge, because he got himself in trouble again. I don't know what it was. So he wants to basically date both Caitlyn and Bruce Jenner, as I would put. Caitlyn and Bruce Jenner are the same person. So Caitlyn and Bruce Jenner's ex-wife, whatever. So yeah, it's really scary. It's really scary. So I saw this picture the other day, and some woman, I thought it was a man, but I believe it was a woman, because it said she made herself look like Medusa or something like that. She got all this major plastic surgery done. So it looks like a guy, but with a lot of tattoos, and make her look like a snake, a dragon, actually it says. But it says, well, I'm seeing her name right, Tamat Medusa cuts off her ears. Literally, you can see the stitch marks. Gets her ears cut off and nose to complete her transformation into a dragon. So, just to give you a heads up, I personally think the pictures are very disturbing, to say the least. So, just to give you a heads up. But you can find it. I already shut it down, so I can't tell you where you're going to find it. You can find it on my Facebook page. I'll tell you that much. So you can just look on Walter's page. Anyway, the Daily Mail had something up, another disturbing story from the other day. And I'm not getting to this stuff, so I'll bring up in a short message. But let me just finish this one out, because I was kind of shocked by news I woke up yesterday to hear. Daily Mail, though, mother whispered into her daughter's ear that her partner wanted to have sex before she helped him rape her the night before her 15th birthday. So the mom gave approval and to let her boyfriend rape her daughter. Mother helped her partner rape her teenage daughter by pinning her down. The assault happened on the eve of the girl's 15th birthday. The mother and the partner, they say partners. I assume it was a girl. I'll have to find out. It was because partner could also mean another woman. I don't know. The mother and the partner were sentenced to 7 years in prison. That's not long enough for me. Judge found mother's behavior as no different to her partner's rape. So I'm not quite sure. Maybe it was 2 females, because they keep on saying partner. But yeah, this poor girl on her 15th birthday, her mother approved, quote unquote, her partner to allow her partner to rape her daughter. So that's really pretty scary. 36-year-old mother with more than 6 children whispered to her partner's wish to have sex into her daughter's ear before the assault had taken place. So this woman single mom who has a partner. They don't describe who the partner is. Has 6 children. Her one child turned on her 15th birthday. Told her that, her partner, this woman's partner, basically the girl's mom. Oh, hey, by the way, for your 15th birthday, whoever I'm having sex with is going to have sex with you too, just to give you a heads up. So yeah, that's really lovely. I stepped away from the mic a little bit. Okay, so now some disturbing things. 2 people died yesterday. I would say it would happen within yesterday. Both are very shocking because I knew who these people both were. But this one was a woman wrestler who goes by the name China. She died at age 45 yesterday. So that was kind of shocking because I've heard of her. I've known of her. WWE, I believe I said her name right. I'm pretty sure her name's China. She passed away yesterday. So that was pretty shocking. And, of course, the other one that everybody was talking about was the fact that, passed away too? Prince died yesterday too. So that was 2, some pretty shocking news stories. So, I just wanted to, I'm sorry for the both losses, unfortunately. So just to let people know that, it's a shock to, I think, everyone around the world, because I think both of them, in different ways, are well-known celebrities, so to speak. So, it was kind of weird. What else was I going to mention, though? I don't want to, because everybody's been talking about it, I don't want to beat a dead horse. I did watch the final season finale of Supergirl, which I really liked it for the most part. There was certain parts I did not like, but for the most part, I really did enjoy it. I was glad to see it, and I'm glad to see it's going to get renewed, too. I'm going through my stories, too. For people who live in my state, in case you didn't know, they said the Trump campaign office opens in Plymouth. It says Plymouth, so I don't know if it meant Plymouth Meeting. I assumed it meant Plymouth Meeting, but I'm not definite. While Donald Trump was cruising to an overwhelming victory in New York, Republican presidential primary Tuesday, they're setting up a campaign office in Montgomery County. It says 601 Old Elm Street, Plymouth Township. So I assume it meant Plymouth Meeting. So that's pretty cool. Now, I did get a little turned off by Donald Trump. On the way home, I started listening to Rush Limbaugh's show from yesterday. He's not going to be on today, just to let people know. On Friday. So I won't be able to listen to him anyway because I'm going to try to go get some running around done. I could listen to a little bit, but honestly, I want to get to this convention, get my money's worth at this point. Try to. So, and there was something, though, he said, and one friend's going to say, see, I told you so. Hey, you were saying how great you think Donald Trump is. And it was like, honestly, I did not say that in that way. You are going to say it. I said I would vote for Donald Trump more so because he's more electable than Ted Cruz would be. That's the only reason I said that. And there's certain things, though, in my defense, that I said that I think Donald Trump would also have a better chance in other ways more than Ted Cruz because he will basically work with both sides. I'd rather see him more so, and I'll still stick to my guns on this. I'd rather see Ted Cruz. I would love to see Ted Cruz, but I'll still stick to my guns that I'll take Donald Trump over the 2 Democrats that are running, Hillary Clinton and stuff. And by the way, I need to clarify this too, because people don't seem to understand this. Somebody wrote in New York, even though Donald Trump won by a landslide over top of the other candidates, he's not getting the amount of votes, not even no comparison to the amount of votes that Hillary Clinton was getting, or I'm trying to think what else they said. Hillary Clinton or Bernie Sanders. Well, you got to remember, the Democrats only have 2 candidates left, only 2. Now, you could say, well, if you really don't like somebody, you just don't vote for him at all. Yeah, you're right about that. If you don't like who you have in your party, but most likely you're going to try to vote for within your party. You have to, actually, at this point. So, and that's number one. So you got to remember that. Number two, they only have two candidates to pick from at this point. People don't seem to see the whole picture. You got two candidates running on your side as Democrats. The Republicans have, let's see, I think at least three people left. I can't remember. Let's see. Left for the Republican primaries. Let me see, because I don't know at this point. I know there's at least three. There is Ted Cruz, Donald Trump, and the people that people forget that I forgot about. Let me see if I can figure this out, though. There was like a lot more. There was like 5 or 6. Okay, it says, if I'm looking at it right, Donald Trump, John, how do you say that? Kayish or whatever, and Ted Cruz. Bottom line, there's 3 different people for the primaries for the Republicans. There's only 2 left for, you have to worry about for the Democrats. So the person who was saying yesterday was saying, well, hey, they're getting a lot more votes than Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton do individually, not even combined, but individually. Donald Trump's not getting the amount of votes to be on top like the other 2 are getting. Well, let's see. He's running against 3 people. They're only running against 2. So, and you have to vote within your party. The primaries you have to be within either the Republican Party or the Democrat Party. That's your only choice. And you got only 2 choices as a Democrat, and you got 3 choices left as a Republican. Come on. Do the math, people. No, seriously, do the math. Those votes are getting split 3 ways, 1 way. Yeah, it's going to be a lot smaller. Hello? So the idiot who said, well, hey, they're getting a lot more votes. Hillary and Donald Trump got a lot more votes in New York than... No, I'm sorry. Bernie Sanders, because I'm correcting myself now. Bernie Sanders and Hillary Clinton had gotten much more votes than Donald Trump did. Bernie Sanders, Hillary Clinton got more votes than Donald Trump did. Yeah, no shit, Sherlock, because he's got 3 people that taking votes away from him. Now, there was one thing I did get quite a bit upset about today when I started listening to Rush Limbaugh. It's not against Rush, because Rush does set you straight. He really does. If you like him or not, he will set you straight. But he was saying that basically, and I'm going to get reamed for this, but it sounds like Trump might be showing his true colors, that he's leaning more now to where he originally came from, which is more to the left, which I don't really appreciate. He's basically saying he approves of basically, I like to call them unisex bathrooms where men and women can go in the same bathroom. If a man feels like he's a woman, he should be able, he's not going to change that. He should be able to use a woman's bathroom. I disagree with that. That's me. I 100% disagree with that. So he was backpedaling that. I'm not quite sure if he's got a concrete rule on where he stands with Obamacare, because I like to see, I know Ted Cruz said right off the bat, and I do believe that he's going to, if Ted Cruz would get elected, he's going to make sure that's gone. He's going to do everything in his power to reverse what got put in place with this Obamacare. It's going to be admitted that we could go back to private sector and not have to be fined or taxed. Hey, I'm 100% with Ted Cruz on that. I'm 100% on a lot of stuff for Ted Cruz. I'm just afraid, and I've heard this firsthand, that people that are conservative even don't like the fact that Ted Cruz, is so far to the right. He is so far ultra-conservative. That makes it actually physically impossible for him even to be remotely considered to be elected. That's just the bottom line. That's why I was saying about this stuff about Donald Trump. Now, I am definitely worried now that, wait a minute, maybe I better reconsider. I said about my peace of mind and everything, I might have to reconsider that. I don't know. I'm a little leery now on Donald Trump because, he might say that he's going to stop the whole amnesty thing, and then he might reverse that. He may actually agree for having, the same-sex bathrooms. He says right now he's pro-choice, or was that pro-abortion? He might be pro-choice, which I really, honestly, that one I'm on the line for anyway. So quite honestly, I don't care either way. I mean, it's a woman's body; she should be entitled to do what she wants to do. But I will let you know, if a woman gets raped, well, that's one case. That's the one case. If a woman gets raped, she should be able to abort if she gets pregnant. That I agree with 100%. But if a woman just gets pregnant because she's being careless, then that's a different story. I probably have to say that I'm pro-life, not pro-choice. So, but he's swinging back and forth on certain issues. The health care is the one that would really concern me, because he could very well turn around, and I think I might have heard this, I could be wrong, but he may have said that, what was I going to say? I don't think we really need to change Obamacare. So, yeah, dude, we need to change this. So that's a major one for me. Some of his choices of the tariff taxes is probably, I'm not that stupid, just to let you know, is a bad idea. I'll let you know up front. And why it's a bad idea, because, I mean, on paper, theoretically, it sounds like an excellent idea, but you got to remember, those tariff taxes that he wants to put into place, the only one who is going to suffer from that is us, because no matter how you look at it, jobs that are lost are probably close to impossible to get back in our country. That's just a fact. Now, we got jobs in this country that we can save, and I stand behind this too. There is jobs we can save, but the way you do it is not by raising the pay scale for people who are not going to eventually try to get a better job. I mean, I'm being a little hypocritical. I got shot down for saying this at work tonight, because I get paid way too well. I get paid, for those who listen to me, because everybody gets paid different. I don't care telling people what I get paid. I get paid $32 an hour, and technically my job is pretty much a job that somebody off the street could do. It's an entry-level job. So I'm just letting you know I'm being hypocritical slightly. It does evolve, though, that you getting trained for the job I do. But you don't need... I have a college degree, but I don't need that college degree. I have never used it in the past 15 years. I haven't had a need for what I'm doing to use my college degree. That's fine. I'm not happy about it. I'd rather be using what I went to school for, but I'm not using it. So that's the bottom line. But I'm getting definitely excellent health benefits. Definitely great vacation time off if I need it for whatever reason. I'm getting a lot of perks. So, hey, I have absolutely no problem with that. I don't love my job, but I need the health benefits, especially now thanks to, the Affordable Health Care Act, which is not affordable. Just let you know. So, everything being said there, this is the best I could get, was this job. And I've worked my whole life. I've worked jobs that that you had if you wanted to do better. I said this to people tonight. I worked at Acme Markets. I've worked at I'm trying to think, Hardee's. Back in the day, people may not remember this, Bradley's and other places. And all those jobs, well, minus Hardee's, you basically started out doing what I called, and that's exactly what you did. I think back in the day at Acme, we used to call it a G18, if I remember correctly. And you were probably saying, what the fuck is a G18? That was a cart pusher. You basically started as a cart pusher. Now, I have a cousin who still does that. He pushes carts and stuff, and he does. But, I mean, he's happy with that. He's fine. He's contented. So some people are happy with his job, but he's not complaining. He's contented, and he lives off of that. He's happy doing this. He's only making like less than $10 an hour, maybe a little bit, maybe $10 or $12 an hour. He's happy with that. I mean, he's 10 years older than me. He's about 57. He's pushing close to 60, but he's happy with it. And, you know, he's, I don't mean that in the mean way, but he's a little bit he's a smart guy, but he's a little bit limited on what he can do. I have my limitations too. And it is, I'm trying to think. It's he's got some mental restrictions, and I always don't hide the fact that I do too, though. But you know, you always try to strive for a little more. But you know I have limitations. That's why I still work an entry level job. I'm just very fortunate, and I definitely. People don't realize this, but I thank God that I have the job I have. I thank my father for getting me this job. You know, help me out get this job. It's just a fact. My father helped me get this job. So I'm not regretting any of that stuff. Oh, wow. I'm sure. Yeah, you can't believe everything you read. Breaking news was posted. It says impeachment. Congress moves to impeachment. Well, of course, they're going to try to get Obama, now that he's out the door, to try to impeach him. President Barack Obama, let me read this real quick a little bit, not the whole thing. Top official at the Internal Revenue Service, IRS, John Korshkin or something, was involved in targeting a conservative and a Tea Party group, and he lied under oath about it. I don't know. Breaking Congress moves to impeach. It finally is happening. You know what? Since I'm not doing a really good job, check out, it's called the Patriot Carrier.com. You can find it there, just to let you know. But yeah, I've worked, you know, for quite a bit of time. I've worked when I was younger, and that's, you know, I worked entry-level jobs. But those jobs, just to give you a heads up, you had to work your way up. Like, again, you started out as, like I said, as what's called a G18 when I worked at Acme Markets years ago. And you worked your way up into cashier, and from cashier, you worked your way into a department like produce or meat packing, and those jobs paid really, really well. And then eventually, if you really just wanted to go for the gusto, but everybody had the same opportunity, the same exact chance to work their way into a much, much, much better job and a really good pay. And trust me, when I worked at Acme years ago, we are a union still. You actually got time and a half for Saturdays and double time for Sundays. They got rid of that through the contracts. And that happened when I was still in back in the 80s when I first got those jobs. So that actually kind of disappeared between our contracts. So I was fortunate because the job I work now, that's still going on. And now it's finally catching up to where I work now. But years ago, that was the case. Years ago, that was the case where Acme was paying time and a half for Saturdays and then double time for Sundays. So everybody wanted to work that because supermarkets are 7 day a week jobs. So it's like, hey, I got to make sure that I can get Sundays in on my list. So, but again, that was back when I was in the 80s when I was there. I was between contracts, and they did get rid of that, by the way. They definitely did. All right, I better keep an eye on the time. I'm still doing good. I'm at actually a little over an hour now, so not too bad. Oofa. Sorry, I'm a hot girl. Posting these pictures. Anybody who's interested, I post any hot girls, anybody. Now, I'm acting like, okay, you just said you would, like, date Lizzie. I still would. There's a girl that you would like to do the nasty with, but there's the girl you would take home to mom, and Lizzie would be the girl I'd take home to mom. These other pictures are just, lack of a better term, it's what, Kevin Smith would call probably, Jason Mewes, spank material. There's your spank material, but, that doesn't last that long. You forget about it 30 seconds after you're done. Literally. But yeah, so again, where I'm working now, it's the same thing's starting to happen. They're going to cut a lot of stuff. Acme did that years ago, but that's not my point though. But I worked at these jobs. I knew a guy who worked at Acme, I think with me, and also was at Acme and Hardee's, and he quit the one job after a while because at Hardee's he was just a cook. He worked himself up to and it was a young guy. I don't even think he was out of his teens. But he worked himself into a supervisor position. And he actually saved my job because of my big mouth that I still continue to have. At one point, I pissed off a supervisor by saying, oh, you don't seem like you're on the rag like you normally are. Not the guy that worked himself into a supervisor position, but some other supervisor. And the guy who worked his way, the younger kid, he was a friend of mine. He actually saved my job because he pulled me aside. He says, yeah, I had to calm down the supervisor from your comment because he literally was going to fire me. And I've gotten fired from jobs. I got fired from Acme Market, which is kind of funny. The guy called me at Acme Markets, this manager, he called me a total nut. He literally said it to my face. He says, I'm telling you why I'm firing you. He says, because you're a total nutcase. He actually said that to my face. Technically, I could have turned around and got that guy fired. He still works. His name, by the way, because I don't really give a fuck. The guy was an asshole to me. His name is Jack Trahey, if I remember correct. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. He worked down in Horsham. He now works at the Acme Market right down the road from my house, the one in Trooper. He's always in there. He's aged a bit, but he looks exactly the same. And that was literally like 20 or 30 years ago at this point. So it's pretty funny that he got a job around here. I don't know if he realized. Obviously, he doesn't give two shits. I'm always, when I see him, he's always like preoccupied. I'm always worried. It's like, will this guy recognize me as being the mental patient that he told me that I was totally fucking nuts? I seriously doubt it, but you never know. So I don't know why he transferred or if he got transferred. I assumed he probably just transferred himself or whatever. Because actually, he could have got transferred because I had an uncle that worked at Acme for years. But again, this is not the point. But there's people that I worked at, they took these entry-level jobs. When I worked even years ago at Bradley's, I worked at this place called I Got It at Gary's. You started out and you got on your work performance, you got raises. You didn't get, back in the day, I got $5 an hour. And I was like, wow, that's pretty damn good. Or $4.25. But I got like hardly anything at all. And you worked your way up. And then you're like, hey, when you made like $7.50 or something like that, you were like, wow. And when I got like temp jobs years ago after that, I was making like a big whopping $10 an hour. And it was like, wow, this is great. I'm making $10 an hour now. I'm like living high on the hog. So, but I had to work my way, and I worked like tons of temp jobs, and now I went from making $10 an hour was my last job. I actually worked at this place called my very last temp job, which I ended up quitting after a while. was called IMS Healthcare. And people, it was a great job. I enjoyed it. But it was actually really frustrating, too. It was a lot of work. It was a tape library for pharmaceutical companies. We basically kept all the data. It's down in Plymouth Meeting. We kept all the data when it was needed down in Plymouth Meeting, right across the street at this corporate center down from Plymouth Meeting Mall, right across the street. So that being said, it was interesting. It was a lot of run around. They looked like 8-track tapes that we put in the machines. And we had some reel-to-reels. We had one place in Europe that actually used reel-to-reels. So I got to pour some soda because my throat's getting dry and I don't have any water. Sorry about that. So anyway, that job I had, I got paid $10 an hour, and I loved it. I actually, until I opened my big mouth, before that I had a job working as an Intel sales rep. Yes, Intel the company. Until I opened my big mouth, I got myself fired because I pissed off that supervisor, and she fired me. But I actually started out that job, I think, at $10 an hour. She did raise me, I think, $2 or something like that. She liked the way I worked. Well, the whole situation behind that was definitely one of these cases. Why I take these stories close to heart, friends know about this. She actually was making sexual advances at me. Now, if she heard this, it would be like that school teacher. She'll say, and she was married, and she just had a kid, too. And she wasn't that attractive. And by the way, because nobody knows who this is, she actually still works for Intel. She actually moved up in the chain of command. And she got me fired by lying about the whole situation. Not sexually with me. She just fired me because she didn't like me. And she passed it through like, oh, I don't need him anymore. Get rid of him. And she badmouthed me with this temp agency where I got the job through. I loved the job, though. I really did, because I went to stores giving out trinkets. But, going back real quick, I worked for that job like every other job. I progressed, from working as a cart pusher to getting every time a better job until I eventually landed the job I have now. So, the thing is, nowadays, again, there's a guy and a friend at work who says people now expect their first job, they should make $15 an hour because of a sense of entitlement. I never got that sense of entitlement. I had to work to get, these jobs I have. I have friends that had to do this. And I had a friend who was a cashier for years, and he worked his way up to a supervisor position, and ever since that, he always got supervisor positions. But you don't start out at a top-paying job. You got to work your way up. Even the job I got at where I work, when I first started there, that was a big increase in pay. But guess how much I got paid when I first started there 13 years ago? I got paid $15 an hour. So I went from a job making with vacation time and personal time and all this, the whole 9 yards. So I went from a job making $10 an hour to making $15 an hour, but with benefits. And it was like, wow, this is great. And it's a 9-to-5 job. It was like, this is great. I didn't like the work. I really hate it. I still do. But I went from, $10 an hour. I started out my very first job, $5 an hour, or $4.75 to $5 an hour, to $15 an hour for my next job, to now making $32 an hour. But I did not get that all at once. I had to work. Again, my favorite job, believe it or not, was working at Intel. I really, really loved that job. If I still could have that job, I would take it in a heartbeat. I'll be honest, but they don't do that anymore. It was a program. They actually gave it a code name called Champs. That was abbreviated for something literally like Champs, like the restaurant. It was spelled the same way, but it was supposed to mean something. I can't remember. I threw all that bookwork away, I think, at this point. So, but the boss, by the way, when I said sexually harassed, she made sexual advances at me. That's no joke. She actually not only made sexual advances at me, she took me to, it doesn't exist anymore, but it was over where the music fair used to be. It was this restaurant called Ribbits one time. Then she took me, right, ironically, I might have mentioned this probably last year on my podcast when I started doing them. She actually had taken me to this private cafe, and it was either one of those two times that she had taken me to either this private cafe right down from Cabrini College, though. I'd probably still there, the cafe. But it was either there or Ribbits, where I felt very uncomfortable with her taking me out to eat. At first, I was like, I thought she was trying to be nice. But the part that, it's just being considerate, this woman, because I was not attracted to her. And even if I was, I would still, pay respect to this woman who is my regional manager, who had taken me twice out. And apparently I found out I was the only one she had, did this to, taken me out for a meal. Well, the one time, at least the one time, she kind of got a hint after the one time she did it that she didn't try it again, but she did try to kind of, I don't know how else to put it. The best way I can put it is like almost seduce me in order to, take me out to eat to get something else. That's that. I didn't pick up on it. I was very naive when she was doing this. But I kind of figured it out later on. Well, the one time, by the way, this is no joke. I'm not making this up. I'm not trying to impress anybody or myself. But this is the God's honest truth. She told me, well, why aren't you sitting next to me? She asked me, why don't you sit like closer to her? Like she literally wanted me to be right next to her while we were eating. It was like, and I did tell her, this is no joke. I said, listen, I don't feel, I'm fine where I'm at. So she kind of got the hint, but she did try it again to take, I think the first time, one of those two places she had taken me to. She figured like, oh, well, hey, and I mentioned this is the God's honest truth. Did I mention her name? Melanie Bowers. She's regional at Intel. Higher up, she actually went higher up in command. But she actually, she said, and like we had these meetings once in a while that we got together of these other champs, these people we called champs. And she actually said, I'm really happy, and that's actually can be taken very offensive, but she actually literally said, I'm happy that I got so many good-looking people. So she hired people not on what they knew or how intelligent they were. So I am putting myself down there. But instead, she hired people strictly on their looks and only on their looks. So, and when I heard her say that, I was like, wow, that's a little bit offensive. I actually did get a bit offended by her saying that. So, but yeah, I got hired from a job not because of which I did know a lot about, like the insides of Intel, thanks to a friend, but that was not the reason I got hired. I got hired because of my looks. And this is no joke. People will look at me now and they say, what was she thinking? She must have been really desperate. That's what I'll probably hear now. But honestly, it's the truth. I'm not making it up. I got hired on my looks. And so did everyone else. They got hired on the way they look. So, God's honest truth, not making it up. So, I do got to go to a convention tomorrow. It will be about 5 o'clock. I won't get out of bed until 1. And then I got to head over to Micro Center. So I'll probably get back home around 4 o'clock. Right in time to go to that comic convention, which there's no need to go there right away. Just get my money back for that one day at least. And I'm headed on an hour and a half. Anyway, a couple of quick things that I was really upset about. I went off on a loud tangent at work tonight because I was discussing this with people. About changing... Obama had announced that he's going to change Andrew Jackson on the $20 bill. His face is going to be removed and replaced with, I can't remember her name, but some I can't remember the woman's name, but it's going to be replaced with this black woman. So, let's see, woman's. back in the $10 bill incorporated. So, I mean, generally, there's that old saying, you have dead presidents who basically made a, founded our country. Our founding fathers are now being discriminated upon and removed from two of the bills, one in the front, one on the back, are going to be removed from our bills. I look like the $20 bill, the $10 bill, and it looks like the $5 bill. I don't know. I'm basically talking bullshit now. But the bottom line is they want to change it with African Americans now all of a sudden. And they weren't presidents. They were like slaves or something like that. And then there was one I heard from a friend tonight at work. If I remember correctly, it was Martin Luther King's son or something on that line, on the back of one of the other bills. I think the one is going on the front of the $20 bill. And it's like, you're making up rules as you go along, President Obama. You're doing things that no other president would have done, and it would have been considered, basically unconstitutional, are now all of a sudden plausible. And that just really just set me basically through the roof. I mean, there's no other way to put it. It just put me right through the roof. So that was one thing I found really offensive. I'm not going to go through the story because this was on some conservative web link I have, and it says, breaking news, you won't believe who's replacing Andrew Jackson on the $20 bill. So everybody knows who it is. I don't need to explain to them, so I'm not going to correct myself on something that everybody already knows. But I just really, it's beyond politically correct, and now it's just trying to see how far you can get away, do things and get away with, the most ridiculous things. And that's what I find it. That shouldn't, the $20 bill has been the same for the last, what is it? I'm going to take, 200 years or something. And now all of a sudden it's a big issue because we got an African-American president. No, you don't change this stuff and do whatever you want to do. You can't change certain things. I personally think that's unconstitutional what he's doing. He's defacing, our currency right now. Because you know what that's going to do to the old bills, which they do get destroyed every once in a while. It's going to make it worthless, or it's just bottom line, it's unconstitutional, I think. Now, people are going to take that the wrong way, but you got to remember there's certain things, and they're going to say, well, that's being racist or sexist. No, it's not. There's certain things. Our country was founded on these forefathers. That's what a person said at work, a friend said, and he's absolutely right. These are our forefathers, and now you're telling everybody, well, these people were who found this country don't have a leg to stand on. They've been they passed away 200 years ago. But, now they're being disgraced upon because they were racist and sexist. That's far from the truth, but whatever. Anyway, I read some story I read to a friend tonight at work, and it's from Overpass American. It said Pearl Jam cancels North Carolina show because they can't pee in the ladies' room. I think that's just ridiculous, so I just want to let you know about that. Bernie Sanders, by the way, was down in Oaks at this same convention center I'm going to be at today. And for some reason, I read something that he was supposed to be there today as well. Supporters turn out to hear Sanders in the Expo Center in Oaks. That's where I'll be tomorrow for a comic book convention. So I hope he's not, because it's going to be a disaster area. I heard it was like a large turnout. Now, you got to understand, people who are supporting Bernie Sanders, the reason they are is because Bernie Sanders is basically promising everything to everyone that's a minority, not a minority, I'm trying to think, people who basically feel like they're entitled to things. So it goes way beyond, like, oh, free education, tax the rich more. Oh, that was the other thing, by the way, that kind of really offended me with Donald Trump now. He feels that we should raise even putting a higher people who are in a higher tax bracket should be paying more taxes on top of what they're paying. There's that 2% that's already paying the largest amount of taxes in the United States, and he wants to raise taxes on them even more now. So you know what that's going to end up doing? That's going to chase these people out of our country. So the amount we are getting from them is going to go away because they're going to go away. That's the bottom line. Just to let people know, those who get easily offended, I did put up a lot of sexy pictures of girls. So I'm not going to hide the fact. I'm just going to let you know that I did. So don't say, oh, my God, this guy's a real pervert. Yeah, I'm the only one who's a fucking pervert around here. Nobody else, of course. Everybody else is like saints. Even like that woman who was sexually having sex with a 16-year-old who was supposed to be a teacher. That lady was in the right. I'm the one in the wrong putting up a bunch of pictures. There was a story I found somewhere, and it was kind of funny, and it was a picture. It says, Hardee's restaurants install... Oh, okay. Let me read the first part first then now, if I can find it. Hardee's responds to the $15 an hour minimum wage with one simple move. It's perfect. It's a picture, and it's titled, Picture Hardee's Restaurants Installs Self-Order Stations. So there you go. There's that solution that we need to raise the minimum wage to $15 an hour for entry-level jobs. Well, guess what? McDonald's and now Hardee's is going to be putting in kiosks into these places. So there you go. Congratulations on your win on $15 an hour. There is a story I found that I wanted to read. Breaking news. I think my man, God, what is his name? I always talk about him, and then I forget about him. Forget about it. Alan West put up this story, so I had to share it from Alan West. He got it from Young Conservatives. I think this one definitely was Alan West. ISIS executes 250 women who refuse to be sex slaves. So there you go. You fuckhead leftist liberals who think that we should share bathrooms with women, who believe that everyone that is not of a certain not a certain person is that everyone, with the exception of one classification, everyone is being discriminated upon in the U.S. and everybody's being treated unfairly, are the same people who also support Muslims in the U.S. So anyway, there you go. ISIS, which these are radical Muslims, executes 250 women who refuse to become sex slaves. So you keep on pushing this fact that we need more Muslims in the U.S., the refugees, and you're going to have the same thing, because it's happened in other countries, by the way, where this has happened. ISIS executed 250 women in Mosaic or something for refusing to become sex slaves under the group of sexual jihad. The victims had been ordered to accept temporary marriages to fighters in the terror group's northern Iraq stronghold. This is what it says. But when they refused the so-called sexual jihad, they were it says butchered, sometimes along with their families, according to the officials from the Custodian Democrat Party. It looked like Custodian. I don't know how to say that, but it's a Democrat Party. So there you go. There's the word Democrat in the sentence, even though I can't pronounce the rest correctly. It says news agency that this said over there that at least 250 have so far been executed. So there was more than that, but that's what they counted so far, have been executed by ISIS in the city for refusing to accept practice of sexual jihad, and sometimes families. Again, it just repeated itself. Another official of the patriotic Union of Kordasian, whatever, claimed women were barred from going out alone in more. It's MOSUL, so I'm not sure how that thing. But the bottom line is women have no rights in these countries that are run, basically ran by the Muslim population, especially the radical Muslim. And you know what? People think, well, okay, not all Muslims are radical, but those that are not radical also do disrespect women to a large extent. No matter how you look at it, they do disrespect women to some extent. So you can't hide the facts. A friend of mine tonight, he said he was watching ESPN and he saw this, so I don't know much about it. So I am really, again, talking out of my ass, but it was in the morning call. It finally got posted in the newspaper. ESPN, basically, this guy has a big mouth like me. He basically gets fires Kurt Schilling following a controversial Facebook post. So this guy, Kurt Schilling, got fired for posting something, and it says ESPN announced that it has fired network analyst and former Boston Red Sox star pitcher Kurt Schilling following his comment on Facebook about transgender people. So a friend kind of explained it to me, but I'm not quite sure, and I don't really want to go too far with that at this time. Anyway, Breitbart actually put something. Attendees of an annual 420 pot celebration left behind almost, get this, 15,000 pounds of trash at the Golden Gate Park, San Francisco. So there you go. These people that are liberals, or these people that support these, which is completely different, but these migrants who act the exact same way, do nothing, but when they get what they want, they basically trash wherever they basically squat. And I mean squat as being squatters. So, there you go. When people get what they want and they don't have to work for it, they definitely do not appreciate it. Hey, on a lighter note, I'm going to see, maybe I can leave it off of that, I hope, but it was really, really funny. But this guy was on Daily Mail Online. It was like a Daily Mail video, from the Daily Mail. It says, naked swimmer burst from Russian lake with a bite caught between his legs. Literally, he goes in and he skinny dips in this lake in Russia, this guy. And he comes out where a shark bites his fucking penis. Like, he can't get the... did I say shark? I apologize. I got shark on the mind if I did say that. A fish bites his penis. Like, I guess the fish must have thought of it. It wasn't even that big of a fish. It was a fairly big one, but not real big. The fish bites his penis, I guess assuming it was like another fish, or that it was a worm. Mine would be like the size of a worm. So I don't know what the size of this guy's penis is. I don't really want to know either, quite honestly. But it is like really funny. This guy got his penis bit when he jumped into a lake. There's that old joke about jumping a lake. He jumps into a lake, comes out, and he catches a fish who won't let go of his penis. Like it's got its jaws, so to speak, locked on his penis. So that's one way to get fish on your penis. That was really bad all the way around, so I apologize, but I thought I could make it kind of funny. Anyway, there's a really cool picture I got, and this is a true picture. I don't know where it was from. It says iNature, where there's this guy standing next to this rather large bat. It's like the size of a child. It's a bat. It says, meet the largest bat on Earth. It says PEMBA. It says flying fox. This fucking thing is huge. It's a bat. You can tell it's a bat, but it's huge. It seems like it's harmless almost, but I've never seen a bat that big before. These bats are fruit bats, are fruit and nectar eaters, and average a wingspan of about 6 feet. It looks like 6 feet. So again, it's about 3 foot in length. In length. So again, this bat looks like a small cub that I'm looking at. It's like the size of a small cub, but it's a bat. And it's hanging upside down in the picture. Oh, for those who don't know, it says, I found this tonight from PIX 11, 78 Kmart and Sears stores are the same place now. Is they're owned by Kmart owns Sears. Stores to close nationwide, including New York and Connecticut. So I think there was one Kmart left in Philadelphia, so I'm not sure if that's still there, but that's the only one I knew of. And I think there's a couple other Kmarts in the outskirts, but I'm not sure where. But it says nearly all of the stores, it says 68 Kmarts and 10 Sears will close in late July. Some in New York and Connecticut, among other locations, are shutting down. So that's a shame. I used to love Kmart, honestly. So I'm really upset. Now, the rest are that hot girl from Australia. Again, I hope she doesn't mind because I really posted a lot of pictures of her and that she posted up because I just think she's like freaking hot. So I hope she doesn't mind and, realize that this guy really is the creepiest creep that I ever saw. He just takes all my pictures, and no matter what I put up, I better watch. I better block him, in fact. That's what I'm afraid it's going to happen. So, yeah, you know what, folks? I do want to enjoy my convention tomorrow somewhat, if I can. So, I want to let everyone go. I hope, I'm going to have a 3-day convention. It's not going to really matter that much to me tomorrow. But since the main guy I wanted to go see, the actor, bailed out, I do want to get my money back, though, for at least that one day. And I'll try to make the best out of the next 2 days. But the bottom line is I really, could care less about work. So, hey, I need the paycheck. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying, hey, it was funny. I came into work today, and this one guy says, you're going to be working, we joked about it all the time. He says, so you're going to be working for free tonight, right? And I was like, yeah. God, I came in not to get a paycheck. I came with all of the intentions that I was going to get paid for. I was going to get paid for coming into work. I just came in because I wanted to. So we joke about that. No, trust me, I definitely need my paycheck. I appreciate my paycheck, and glad I have the job I have. I know I complain about it. Trust me, I complain about it more than I need to. Well, I do need to complain about it because it keeps my sanity. But I do appreciate my job. And I love the woman I work with. She's just a sweetheart, so I don't want to lose her. So, everyone, thank you for listening to me. If you do listen to me, as always, I was corrected one time from my friend Matt, which I do appreciate. My friend Matt in the real world, not the one at work. But, and I try to make sure I don't mess up on saying this. But, hey, if you do listen to me and you enjoy what you hear, because I can be probably offensive to almost everyone, but if you don't mind what I talk about and you like what you hear and you are listening to me on a regular basis, try to get other people to tune in to me as well. Just tell them, go under Google and just put in iWalter and put even iWalter YouTube, but you can actually just put in iWalter, I believe, and I should come up. Maybe I should do that before I put my money where my mouth is. So I'm going back over to my Mac computer with the non-working keyboard, and I'm putting in iWalter and see what comes up. I think I've got enough. Okay, I just put it under my Mac. I just put in iWalter, and my publicity shot my friend Matt had taken comes up now under images. But get this. Also, iWalter comes up, and it was a one that actually says Trump. So this was back quite a ways, but I come up on even under, let me see, I come up under the Apple thing. I actually made enough impressions, or made myself impressionable enough that you can find me. Let me go under Google search real quick. Or as my dad always says, Googles. and see if I can get up a Google search engine and just put in iWalter. Lowercase I, by the way, folks. Capital W. Rest are all regular. ALTER. And it pretty much comes up with the same things. Same thing. But, yeah, you can get a link to me if you want to on that. Or you can just put in again. You can probably... I'm on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and everything else. My shows come up. So, let's tell other people, listen in this guy. He's a little ridiculous, but, hey, I recommend listen to it. I appreciate if you can do that for me. So, I didn't do a show yesterday, and I got 0 people listen to me. Nobody. So, I have to continue to do these in order to get ratings. And I need more people to listen to me, so I appreciate that, too. So, I'm stuttering my words. I'm slobbering. I'm almost like, yeah. So, thanks for listening to me. Have a good weekend. I hope I do, and I am signing off for now. This is Walter from iWalter. Thanks again. It's shows lasted me 2 hours tonight. It's great. Adios, folks.